pandemic hit, lumber for construction skyrocketed.
Without lumber, what are we going to build our homes with, our boats with, our cabinets, our flooring?
There was issues with lumber mills being able to produce and ramp up production because people weren't allowed to work.
Welcome to Bangor, Maine, what used to be known as the lumber capital of the world. Now, Maine is still a big producer when it comes to wood products for the U.S.'s economy. However, even the biggest producers can be affected by the supply chain issues we've been seeing the last couple of years. So I went to one of those producers, a sawmill just 2.5 hours north of here, to figure out what those problems are and what solutions they're trying to figure out.
We're set here in the middle of a huge industrial forest. Manufacturing is not for every community, but it's very vital to this one here for a high percentage of jobs.
Near Portage Lake, a heavily forested community, you'll find many different sawmills producing high-quality, Maine-grown lumber. Lumber. It's one of the things Maine does best.
I'm Scott Ferlin, General Manager of Maine Woods Company, Portage, Maine. And we produce about 14 million board feet a year, some years a little more, some years a little less.
The logging industry here in Maine itself is worth $7.8 billion for the U.S. It's a major part of the global wood industry. The leading timber-producing countries of the world are China, the United States, and Japan, with the U.S. coming in second at 18% of the world's production. Timber refers to trees that have yet to be processed. As far as the largest wood product exporters, the top three are China, Canada, and the U.S., with the U.S. accounting for 8.4% of the world's total exports, its primary product, lumber, growing at an annualized rate of 6.9% and generating more than $135 billion over the last 5 years. But the price of and demand for lumber significantly increased when the pandemic started. Wholesale prices for plywood increased from $400 per 1,000 square feet in March 2020 to $1,500 in November 2021. While it has come down to between $700 and $800, the industry is still seeing high demand and supply challenges.
So we ship quite a bit into Canada. I would say maybe 30% of our production goes that way, but our base is domestic U.S.
Maine Woods Company has been around for more than 20 years, supplying lumber for the entire world while creating jobs for those living in the small community. But just like every business around the globe, Scott says the supply chain issues the past couple of years has made producing more challenging.
We have let down a fair amount of our customers in not being able to supply what their needs have been. The same has been true for the supplies that we need. The demand has been excellent for our products. We've struggled to keep a full workforce. It was a really frustrating time for a lot of different reasons, and we have yet to be able to get back to a fully staffed production rate. I don't know when we will.
Some of the major lumber supply chain issues started in 2020. The pandemic triggered a workforce shortage. The domino effect continued with a lack of truckers to move materials. Now the increase in gas prices has led to an increase in wood prices for companies, and in turn, you, the consumer.
We've had to try to keep pace with inflation with wages.
Scott says the industry needs more employees. Most companies like his have raised their wages. However, it still hasn't helped much. But this is Maine. The wood industry never stops, and Maine Woods Company will continue to process and push their supply, keeping the country a reliable lumber exporter.
Manufacturing is key to security of our way of life going forward.
When you break it down, the lumber industry is a huge part of our economy. It's essentially a made-in-America business. So if it's hurting house builders, contractors, and big chain stores, imagine what it's doing to small-town, made-in-America businesses.
Working with wood is pretty much how I get to express myself. But it is scary because this is the only source of income we have for my entire family. My name is Bruce Graybill, and I am the owner of Ciders Woodcrafting.
This is Ciders Wood Crafting,
So with this one, you have Yatoba, which comes from Brazil.
a small wood shop in Bangor, Maine, operating out of Bruce's home. He gets his wood from all over the world, but 50% of his supply comes from Made in America, Maine.
It's been a little bit of a struggle this year, especially with the costs of everything now on my side really drastically going up. These are one of our best sellers, the small paddle boards. So we get 55 for these. We've had to adjust our pricing accordingly, and then bringing on someone full-time this year as well. It's been scary. I joke around all the time, I pay my employee more than I make. So he gets paid more than I pay myself. So, but that's what I have to do to be able to stay in business. So things that we would normally use, they're out, and we don't know when we're getting them back in. So we have to substitute what we would normally use for materials, for like our odds and ends of materials. Wood, our prices have almost doubled on a lot of woods.
Experts say more investment in increasing pay for employees and increasing the number of technically competent employees to help increase production can help drive those prices down. But this is the lumber industry. The demand for wood is always going to be there.
Well, when you buy something made in America, you're supporting American families. It's directly. I'm doing this to provide for my family and to have a couple people work for me that I can give them a decent wage.
If you don't have manufacturing, what do you have? Because we can't all just sit at home and sell things if there's nothing to sell.
It's how to keep up with that demand is what the industry consistently is trying to adjust to. I'm Thomas Hoppo reporting.
More to come on the race. Stick with us.